Well, there we go. I think we're live. Yes, I think we're live. We are. Good. Technology, when it messes you around, it's really, really difficult to know. But there we are. We are live. Hello to everybody out there in virtual land, whether you're watching this LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, or anything else that you've managed to, find its way onto. I'm here today with Craig and Robin from The Yets. Now, if you're expecting a video at this point, there's no video anymore because you can see that we have a brand new sponsor. We are now sponsored by the wonderful Analog Trash, who are a record label, independent record label. You can go and check out Analog Trash and every one of their artists at analogtrash.com. And I'd like to tell you as well, they've also got a wonderful subscription service that you can go that you can join now as well. So please do check that out as well. There we go. That's all of that paraphernalia over. So Craig, Robin, the Yets, where did the name come from?
Oh, the Yets. That's one of the very first questions we always get.
Of course it is, because you've got a name like the Yets.
The Yets is a life analysis statement in a way that we hear many people, and having both traveled a bit and lived on the earth a few years, we hear a lot of people talk about things that have happened and haven't happened, and it's always followed by yet. And yet is universal in sort of a yin-yang sense of both the good and the bad. You talk about things, bad things haven't happened to you, well, perhaps not yet. Good things haven't happened to you, certainly not yet. Keep working towards them.
So it's kind of providence, isn't it? It's kind of, yeah, I see. Yet, on the other hand, see what I did there? You've got a row of guitars behind you, so you don't worry about things like that. How did the two of you meet?
Mutual friend. It's funny. We both went to the University of South Carolina at the same time, and I was in a band and he was in a band, but we never met. We knew of each other's bands, but he never saw my band. I never saw his band. And then a few years later, I ended up moving from Atlanta to Myrtle Beach, and we were introduced through a friend, and he said, "Hey, did you guys ever meet in college?" And we were like, "No." It was just really odd. So the relationship started there with, mutual music love and all that. And then over the course of our relationship, we decided, hey, let's do some music. And that's how this all started.
Wow. What a great story. Oh, I'd need to know the name of these two bands that you were in when you were at university.
I was in a band called Bachelors of Art, BOA. We later changed it to BOA. I can't really remember why.
And you're going to tell me yours was called Bachelor of Science or something?
No, mine is a bit different. My band was called Gross Negligence.
Right. There we go. So one band name was quite academic, and the other one wasn't. So
it sort of was.
It is slightly academic. The band was comprised of all future lawyers.
Really?
And we were all law school classmates, and so we were meeting one night. Said, "What are we going to call our band?" We arrived at Gross Negligence.
There you go. That's
and
fantastic.
it gets even better because the law school was on one floor of this big building on the biggest street in Columbia, and she was a media arts major, and she, not only were we playing in bands in the same town at the same time, she was one floor below me for 3 years of my life, and our paths never crossed.
My college was in the basement of the law school. So that tells you anything.
And here we are today.
Yeah, they put all the creatives underneath the building.
It could have only been more weird.
It was weird.
If like both of you told me that there was a cassette going around at the time of all of the bands at university, and you were both on the same cassette.
That could be possible.
That could be possible.
Well,
if you're
that's-
out there and you're listening and you knew Craig and Robin from their time at university, and you have a mixtape of the bands from university, and they were both on it together in their respective bands, please let us know. They would love to know that. That would be a fantastic thing, wouldn't it? Imagine that if you were both on a mixtape that someone put together of all of the bands. You didn't do Battle of the Bands when you were at university then?
No.
No, she, though, however, has prevailed in Battle of the Bands with BOA. But
yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I used to love Battle of the Bands.
Exactly. We talk about, we talk about bands that we listen to and bands that we saw live, and we know that we were there at the same time. I wonder if we ever spoke. I wish you could go back in time and see, the proximity of, anyway, doesn't matter.
All the same concerts, all the same clubs that we went to, everything, but just, and what I tell her is, Robin, God saved the best for last.
Yeah. Who knows? We'd met each other then. Ooh.
There you go. Now listen, so you've produced an EP called creatively The Yets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because why not? But look, what's that on the front? That's an octopus, is it? Yeah.
Oh yes, that's really interesting. So I'm a photographer and artist, and I ordered these glass slides from the Chicago Museum of Natural History. They weren't from there, but they were on an auction website. So I purchased this lot of all these slides, and there was this weird slide of an octopus, and it's really creepy if you actually saw it. And so I took photos of the octopus through the glass of the slide into this box that I created with all this moss and weird things I found outside. And then I worked it in Photoshop, and that's how we ended up with that. I mean, we saw it and we're like, that is very odd. Let's use it. So
yeah, I love it. It kind of reminds me of sort of like a sort of early period kind of The Cure type album cover, something like that. Who were your influences, both university years and more sort of like now as well? We
love The Cure. I mean, we do, probably listening to our music, you can hear a lot of the 80s influence of that. I loved a lot of the 4AD artists, although I was just listening to Elizabeth Fraser's new Sun Signature. She's got a beautiful voice, although I can't sing like that. Her voice is so high. But we listen to everything from, metal music to stuff that's more mellow, like Sun Signature or any of those sorts of bands.
Yeah.
We have go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what about you, sir?
Well, I was raised in a house where, believe it or not, classic real country and Western music was played. My father was a huge country Western fan. And I began my music education in third grade. And my mother was a jazz head. My father listened to country. I went everywhere in between. Wow. I grew up overseas and was very quickly influenced by British music, picked up the guitar as soon as I could. But all my musical tastes are so varied. I guess we describe what people ask us, what kind of music do you like? And our answer is good music, because there's good music in every genre. But
so growing up, it was Blue Note and bluegrass.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, very, very, very much so. Until I discovered two guys from your country named Keith Richards and Jimmy Page, and then everything changed.
Oh, well, that's two guys that would change your life. Very different though in terms of style. So you've got the real sort of riffmeister, if you like, Keith Richards, and then you've got virtuoso in Jimmy Page. I mean, both write great riffs, but which of those did you then fall down on the side of in the end, or you couldn't kind of separate them?
Oh, David Gilmour.
David Gilmour. What? Wow. Right. Okay. I like that. I like that. What was it about Gilmore's playing? The texture, the ambience of it.
Oh man, yeah.
Gilmore is
control. Yeah.
Gilmore is the true master of less is more,
Yeah.
and leaving space in the music, and in music education, that's one of the most difficult things to teach and most difficult things to learn. And then as an artist, it's very difficult to put down when you begin to create, and it's a wonderful thing. But the best thing is I have the world's greatest reason to leave a lot of space in the songs I write, and she's sitting right next to me because that voice.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is so important, isn't it? When you're writing, I've talked about that so many times on this program with musicians. When bands, I think bands are kind of more sensitive to it now. Younger bands are actually much more sensitive to that kind of space and the structure than I think a lot of us used to be when we first got into bands. I don't know whether it's great. I sometimes wonder whether young bands miss out slightly on having that kind of filthy, just want to hit something, primal aspect to their music early on, where nobody could actually play anything. And but I wonder whether there was something great that comes with that as well. A lot of bands are very proficient these days right from the outset in terms of their musicality and in terms of their playing, whereas we were a whole generation of people that just got together in a band because it was fun to do it, and then kind of learnt to play as you went along.
One of our favorites, I hear the story that it happened in a bit that way as U2. They came together. They said a band is a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
And
now look.
And so you see that the playing, and I used to shudder when U2 first came out because I played with a guy and immediately fell in love with Bono, and he said, we must play this, and I'm like, why do I want to play that? Now, as Edge matured and grew along those lines, he's one of my absolute favorites. He is another one who has embodied the less is more and leaves a lot of space.
Yeah.
And does great things with the layering and the effects and everything that we employ a lot in our music as well.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it too, I feel, is when I think about my other bands that I've been in, you got together and you played in a jam room, you jammed. And this project is different because we didn't just sit down with a guitar and write the songs. We did it piece by piece in the studio, which, we didn't have the capability of doing that before. You had a cassette player and you just recorded whatever, or 4-track. But this has been a totally different experience for me musically because I'm not used to working that way. And the space, used to being in a band, rock and roll. Our music does have that rock and roll aspect to it, but there's also the more ambient things that are hard to capture if you're just playing live in a room, off the bat. Everyone feels like they've got to throw something in when you're with bandmates in a rehearsal space.
So how are these songs structured then when you write them? Do you have like an overall chord pattern, for example, that you've structured that out on an acoustic guitar or something like that, but then you deconstruct it and then start again piece by piece?
He'll tell you.
Generally, the way that we work, a lot of times, I'll sit around. There are guitars all over our home, and I'll be playing, and she will say, "I like that," and then she will grab something and take a little snippet of it, and then I'll have a reminder of it. But a lot of it, I will come up with the skeleton of the song. and then I give it to her, and she will decide what parts she likes, what parts she can work with vocally. She'll come up with the melody line, she'll come up with the lyrics, and then we begin to put everything together in the studio, and then we build upon that with the intent of being that we leave that space, because her voice is so amazing, to leave that space and plug in everything around the voice.
Yeah.
Is kind of the way that we work.
So do any of the songs then start off as multiple songs and end up as one song? Does that make sense?
Yeah, we do piece things. Yeah,
we do. We'll find something and we'll be listening. And there are, this our first, EP project. We decided to just go with 6 songs. We have lots of material, and we said these are what we want to go with. But what we'd be listening to, we'd listen and say, hey, this, and it's like an old synthesizer. We're crossing wires and plugging.
Yeah.
And then when we find what exactly works and fits together, we take that and then we basically scrap the original project. We don't, we save it, but we continue with the new work and build on it from there.
It's a really interesting way to write, isn't it? And it's a very modern way to write, which it's only kind of capable of. People have only really been capable of that in recent years, because you couldn't physically store that in your head in a way. But modern technology, at a fraction of the cost of what it used to cost to record anything, now allows you to just get those ideas out, recut them, put them back in, decide which way you want it. Are we making different types of music these days because of that technology?
No, I mean, totally. When you think about it, before, if you had an idea, you'd have, tape recorder, you would play into it or sing into it. And then after you did the song, you'd have to wait till you had the money to book a recording studio to go in and spend, days or whatever in there putting together the song. Now you can just do it immediately. I'll come in to our studio and he has written a song, and with all these different parts, to me it's like a holiday coming in here. It's like Christmas to come in and sit down, and he's like, listen to this, and I'll just be like, oh my gosh, that is just crazy. I love it. This whole process of the EP that we've done has just been difficult, because I'm not used to working like that.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. It's awesome. We'll be in here all day, and then next thing you know, it's like 7:00 in the evening, and we're like, oh my gosh, we've been working on this song all day. And we spent, weekend upon weekend in our studio, and we live at the beach. And I think we went to the beach maybe twice last summer, because we were so engrossed in this project.
This next summer, you've got to go to the beach a bit, right?
We both surf, and it was like there's no beach, there's no suntan. They're like, we're studio rats, and
you got to have a little bit of beach. Maybe you could do a little live set on the beach next summer.
There you go.
That will probably happen. Did you see the ukulele back there?
Yeah. On the beach with a barbecue. There you go. That would be great. Now listen, you're obviously now fairly comfortable playing, singing in front of each other. But what was it like when you first met? Was it? Given the fact that you then realised that there was kind of a history there with you both being at the same union, both being in bands, was there an uncomfortable moment in terms of?
I thought there would be. Like, he kept saying, we need to do music, and I was like, okay, well, give me something. Let's work on something.
Yeah, because there's that awkward bump to get over, isn't there? Which is that I know you do music, but can it work together?
Right. Yeah. I thought it would. But I was nervous, because I was like, okay, I have to write lyrics, and he's gonna see what I write. I was like, that's kind of it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then I have to sing in front of him, and I can sing a rock song and drop of a hat. It's easy for me. But to sing some of these quieter, more melodic things, it's just a totally different way of singing for me. But he has helped me bring that out, and I'm not paying for studio time, so I can do it as many times as I want to get it right. So
that's so nice to hear. That's really nice to hear. What was the first thing you sang to him then?
I don't even remember.
So, well, this is going to be very interesting, because it's probably the first thing that most people heard from the Yets was the song "Remember," were the words "Do you recall?" And I remember sitting here in the studio with the tracks. She said, I've got a melody line and some lyrics for this. And I said, let's hear it. And we weren't putting it down on tape, but she was behind me and I was at the board and I heard her sing the phrase, "Do you recall?" And it sent chills down my spine. I just went, this is, and it just went from there. You know, I have heard, and she hasn't talked about her other band yet, Skirt. But you know, I'd heard her CDs and everything like that, and so I was well aware of the talent that God had dropped in my lap, and so she was a bit nervous, perhaps on her end. I was a bit nervous of, okay, what do I do? What do I do with this? Here it is, and I think we got an amazing result, because she's so gifted.
You see, I always like to turn these into sort of couples, you know, confessional sessions. I mean, I think that's a great way for it to be. You can now look at each other, stare into each other's eyes, and say thank you. And there you go. There you go. Yeah, go on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go. It's lovely, isn't it? I sometimes I feel that the best way to start, if you don't know how to sing in front of somebody else, and we've done it once before in this program, I don't know whether you're up for the challenge here, is the body form. Have you ever come across that? No. Do you remember?
Not yet.
Do you remember the body form advert?
No.
Okay, so body form is ladies' sanitary products. Okay, but they had a great vocal line in their advert on TV, and it was like, "Wow, body form!" Now,
Wow, body form.
body form for you. Now,
Body form for you.
see,
Wow.
there you have it, right there. I think once you've done that, anything else just goes.
Yeah, then you're just like, okay, what did I just sing about?
I can sing anything now.
That's right. We're all old friends at this point.
Exactly. So if you ever have that situation again, you know, maybe, you know, further down the line, if there's ever sort of children or relatives or whatever that get involved in the project or whatever, and they're scared about singing in front of you or whatever, that's the icebreaker, okay? And it just
totally
breaks
remember
the
that.
ice and totally. So tell us. So when is this Pierre de Resistance out?
It's out now.
It's out now. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people can obviously support it. Where's the best place to support it?
The best place to support it's on Bandcamp.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, because that way you actually get some money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Not yet.
Really?
No, we have actually. We also have our website, theyets.com. You can listen to all the EP on there. We have 2 videos up now, one for our first single we released, the song Remember. And then also we've released our video for the song Lesser Evil. And we have another video that will be coming out hopefully the first week in January for the song Letter to a Boy.
You can stream us on.
And yeah, we're also on YouTube. The videos are up on our YouTube channel. And you can see them on the website. You can see them on Bandcamp, and we're on Spotify, Pandora. We're everywhere that we can try to be.
Anywhere that the wind blows. I know, but look, I think it's a wonderful EP. I really enjoyed listening to it yesterday when I had the time to do that. And I think that octopus will make a great T-shirt.
It already has.
It already
has. Well done. Well done you for spotting that opportunity. So listen, folks, if you want to listen to this on Spotify or any of those other streaming services, you're entitled to, but only if you buy the T-shirt, which which Robin will now tell you where you can get it from.
You'll have to contact us on Bandcamp, and we'll get you one.
Yep. And then, and only then, can you actually listen to the EP. Sorry.
Well done. She actually she had a prototype made for me, and for to give a guitar player a prototype is like, but so I had the T-shirt and everyone, and now she has one, and then we also have another logo that we use in some places. It's not on the album cover, and it's actually not an octopus. It's a kraken coming from the ocean and eating a schooner, and so because it's one of those things that hasn't happened to you yet, but
not yet.
So both T-shirts people have seen, and everybody's, I want one of those. What can I? So that's probably the next thing that's gonna happen out of that.
Absolutely. Will you ever play the UK? That's another thing that some of my fans will.
That would be so great. We'd love to. We'd love to.
We would love to. It's one of those, we had talked about the music thing before COVID, and then there was COVID, and now we're here, and all the avenues that are opening back up. It's exciting to see everybody be able to get back out and tour. We've been able to get out and see some bands that we really like, and so yeah, if we had the opportunity, we would love to do that.
Okay, well, if anyone would like to make that opportunity for Craig and Robin, the Yets, to come to the UK, if there's any promoters listening out there, any club owners, etc., please drop them a line, because they would love to come. And we need more music in the UK. Not that we haven't got an abundance of it already, but we just we're greedy over here. We'd like as much as possible. And especially of that kind, and also we all want one of those T-shirts. So I'm looking forward to the summer of 2023. Craig and Robin on a beach nearby them with a ukulele, playing songs from this EP and the future album as well, in T-shirts with krakens on and octopi. And a group of people wearing octopi T-shirts as well. And that is my,
goals.
That's not even a yet. That is a certainty, right? That is going to happen in 2023. If you'd like to be part of that, then start by going and downloading the music from Bandcamp in the next few minutes, and then you can all join in. Craig, Robin, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for
coming.
Thank you.
It's been wonderful.
What fun.
And you can take away that whole, but you can go away and look up the Bodyform advert.
I'm going to
now, and you'll be like, there it is. There it is indeed. Folks, seriously, this has been the Yets. If you would like to support them and their music, which is absolutely tremendous, please do get in touch with Craig and Robin on any of the social media platforms. Send them a little line as well, because musicians really love it if you actually tell them that you like their music, as opposed to just listening to it and staying silent. Isn't it lovely, both of you? Isn't it lovely when people actually talk to you
We love it. We're on Facebook too, so you can.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, and then you can email us at theyets@theyets.com.
I can concur
Hey,
that they
email us and tell
are
me.
on Twitter because they actually retweeted my thing on Friday when I put it out. So there we go. Everybody, please go and support them. This has been the Yets with their self-titled EP. Do watch them as they go stratospherically into the sky over the next 24 months. Bye for now, folks. Bye.